Okay, so welcome back. Healthy Morning still continues live on HSTV, and right about now, moving into the In Focus segment. And earlier in our intro, I was talking about the Ghana National Fire Service. They're doing all their best, to firefight right here in Ghana. We've seen lots of, fire outbreaks in our markets, in our communities, in our churches, and they're doing so well, regardless of the challenges, trying to, quench all these fires. So right here in the studios with me, I have DO3 Desmond Aka. He is the Deputy National Public Relations Officer for the Ghana National Fire Service. So we're moving back to school. Let's get to know the roles and duties of the Ghana National Fire Service, and also aside that, they have other things to do probably you wouldn't know. So we are going to unleash everything right here on the show. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
We're really humbled having you on the show today.
It's my pleasure.
Great. And we can never do away with the Ghana National Fire Service. It looks like you've become a part of our life. Every time we know regarding to fire outbreaks, we call you, and you're there to help us curb this whole situation. Now, we just want to go back to school again. When we talk about the Ghana National Fire Service, who are they and what are their duties?
Right. A very good morning to your cherished viewers and your listeners as well. Fire Service has come of age. We are 60 years this year. When we go back to 1963. The service was birthed with the pure or the sole mandate of extinguishing fires.
Okay.
And then that mandate was well lived out. So right from 1963, we realized that there was a need for the scope to be widened because of the kind of emergencies that we were confronted with. So in 1997, the service was given birth to again by an act of parliament 537, and this time around the scope was widened. We were not just limited to just firefighting, but other functions were assigned, such that our main objective currently is to prevent and manage undesired fires. But to be able to achieve that objective, we perform several functions for which I would like to take them one after the other. So the first one is to conduct public education. So by means of conducting public education, we are to create and sustain awareness of the hazards of fires. We know that a lot of things come into play when it comes to fires. So it is our mandate to kind of provide the means by which the citizenry would be updated in terms of what to look out for, what to do and what not to do, and then to also bring them to the fore as to the many things that come together to create fire conditions. So that is the first part of our mandate. And then the second part is to heighten the role of the individual in fire prevention. We always say that fire safety is a shared responsibility. We cannot do it alone as a regulatory body. So therefore, it is incumbent on us to inculcate the safety consciousness into the public so that they will feel the need to get involved. Very important. Once they are involved, then they will also put their house in order. Things that they are not supposed to do, they wouldn't do, and therefore the fires will not even occur in the first place. So these are what goes into conducting public fire education. And by means of doing the education, we are targeting every sector of the economy. For instance, we know we have educational institutions, we have industry, we have markets, we have worship centers. By means of worship centers, we are talking about the churches, we are talking about the mosques, we are talking about the fetish areas as well. So these are the places that we have focused over the years, and education to have gone down well. If you look at the schools, we have reached more than 400 this year alone. More than 400 basic and second cycle schools. Our aim or our focus, our objective is to reach out to these young ones, to bring them up to speed, to kind of make them worthy fire safety ambassadors. We believe that when we catch them young, they will grow with a consciousness of safety, because we know that the adult population most of the adult population are so fixated on going to make ends meet, and therefore they do not care so much on their safety. So when these ones are taught on how to safely use electricity, how to safely use our gas cooking apparatus, how to kind of put our homes or offices in order, the fires would be a thing of the past. So we are catching them young at this stage. We have this program that we are embarking in these basic and second cycle schools, where we are forming cadets, we are also forming debating clubs and what have you. That even during our recent Fire Safety Week, we were able to launch a 4-year-old firewoman known as Janelle, who was able to take our audiences or our invited guests through the use of fire extinguishers and what have you. So we are not going to end there. We want to assure the public that we are very much poised on sending the gospel according to fire safety in every nook and cranny of this country. We've not relented on just focusing on the schools, the lorry parks, the markets and all that. It's been a long while since we experienced major market fires. It's all because of our engagement with the leaders of the market managers and all that. We have been able to engage their security men. We've taught them how to use fire extinguishers. We've given them our emergency numbers in such a way that when the fires do occur, quickly they're able to call us, and then we are able to also get to the scene to salvage lives and property. So by so doing, we are still continuing. We've also done a lot of church education. As a matter of fact, if you look at our socials, like social media handles, especially on Facebook, every form of education that we've done, we've posted them there. And the traction is very encouraging. So far, for the past, let's say in less than 2 years, for the past 19 months or so, we've been able to reach over 56,000. No, 56 is an understatement. It is 63,000 now. Yes, within a space of 19 months on social media alone. So it tells us that there is a lot of prospects out there that we also want to take advantage of. So that is by way of conducting public fire safety education. So our quest is to sustain it, to make sure that it lasts. We drive it home so that it becomes part and parcel of us as far as our own safety is concerned. The second aspect is that we are the only institution mandated by the laws of, by the Act 537, 1997, to offer technical advice on fire extinguishers. So you cannot import anything that has to do with fire extinguishers, that has to do with, let's say, all firefighting means into this country without consulting fire service. The fire service has a technical subcommittee or technical committee that has the mandate to inspect and to give their technical know-how as to which fire extinguishers or firefighting gadgets should be allowed in. And they have been working tirelessly to help safeguard our property in terms of the kind of extinguishers that we can buy. We still have some bad nuts who go through or circumvent the acquisition or the importation processes to bring in some of these inferior firefighting gadgets. So by way of our technical advice, we are supposed to train the populace on the use of fire extinguisher. So what we have been doing now is to go around the lorry parks, public places, institutions, offices, schools, to kind of, after the education, we train them as to how to use, because we believe that in as much as fires would occur, the people's intervention by way of them being updated on how to extinguish fires at their incipient stages, that is when the fires occur, you need to be able to react and react positively. And it all boils down to having received the requisite training. So if you are trained, you are empowered to as to how best to deploy an extinguisher effectively. It goes a long way to minimize the impact of fires when they occur. And then also it helps us to kind of reduce the spread of fire even before we get to the scene. So if you look at the statistics over the period, every year the fires, because of the training that we've given the populace, the fires that the people are able to extinguish vis-a-vis what we as an organization also extinguish, they are able to do about 1/3 of it, which gives us the hope that our education is going down, our training, our empowerment programs are going down well in such a way that they're able to at least manage these fires as soon as they occur. But we believe that we can do more. That is why we are urging, if we have not even come to your premises, if we have not been able to reach out to your community, do well, locate the nearest fire station, and then make sure that you get trained on the use of these fire extinguishers. And it is also mandatory that every household, every vehicle owner, every vehicle, and every premises must also have these firefighting gadgets. There is this law that we passed in 2016, that is LI 2249. And this law mandates every premises, the owners or the occupiers of that premises, to acquire effective fire extinguisher. If you also look at the road safety regulation, it is also there. That is why most often than not, you would see our friends, the police, also checking drivers as to how effective the extinguishers are. But even that, as the powers has been conferred onto us, very soon, instead of the police doing the check-ins of the fire extinguishers in the vehicles, you will see the fire officers doing that kind of assessment, because that is what the law states, that we are to give technical advice. The law does not mandate any police officer to be kind of operating or kind of helping you to deploy your fire extinguisher. No, that kind of law lies in the bosom of the fire service. And the public is being reassured that very soon you see the Ghana National Fire Service by your roadside, even before your vehicle is examined for roadworthy and all that. We would ensure that you get an effective fire extinguisher. And not just that, but we will give you the know-how as to how best to operate them, because many a time you will see people's vehicles burning. They may have the fire extinguisher, but how to effectively deploy them is a problem. That is a challenge that we have identified. It is not just enough to acquire the fire extinguisher. What is important is to get trained. And the only institution mandated by law to do that for you is the Ghana National Fire Service. So we would entreat every, let's say, Ghanaian to ensure that he or she gets the needed training as to how best to deploy these fire extinguishers. Aside the technical advice on the fire extinguishers, we also give technical advice on building plans.
Yeah, I really wanted us to touch on that, because currently looking at the structures that are being pulled up at churches, institutions and all that, looking at the data you've gathered and places you've been to, do you think we have the right plan? Because talking about exits and all that, the gates and all that, do you think we are putting up the right structures?
I believe Rome was not built in a day. And therefore, in as much as we have been mandated with that responsibility to ensure that every property that is put up in terms of buildings are subjected to very high assessment, to be able to ensure that we have the firefighting means, we have the requisite or adequate exits, and all the other facilities that would safeguard the property. But you know, we live in a country where enforcement of our laws is a bit challenging. People would always want to circumvent the law and then do whatever they want. Currently, we have a body, or we are part of the statutory planning committee at the assembly level. By that body, they have the responsibility to assess every plan that is brought for a building permit at the assembly. So our people are there to kind of give their technical advice and input as to the needed considerations, such as enough exits, firefighting means. By firefighting means, we are talking about the active and the passive type. We know that you know that when we are putting up structures, it is not just the extinguishers. The extinguishers, you have to take them and operate them by yourself. But we have systems in place that if, let's say, you are using fire-rated materials, you can use them for your floors, you can use them for your ceilings, you can use them for your walls, such that if there is any fire within that space, it will take a bit of time before the entire structural integrity of that space is shattered. Yes, so even if you are using wood, we have ways and means of treating the wood to make them resistant to fire. Even if you are using blocks, we have fire-rated blocks or concrete blocks or how do you call it, bricks that can withstand fires to a certain point in or to for a certain duration. And such things are what our people are just recommending. But you know, safety comes with cost. You know, if you want to do all the necessary considerations such that if there is fire, the impact is minimal, lives are safeguarded, properties are not destroyed, and all that, it means you need to incur a lot of cost to be able to do that. Maybe it is the reason why people, but that does not warrant people not to submit their drawings for. But in any case, bringing your drawings to the fire service for this technical advice, depending on what you are going to put the building to use, the number of people who are going to be there, what we term as the occupancy, and then also the kind of installations that you are going to put in the building, does not come at any fee. What happens is that once your drawings are submitted, we also have the responsibility to issue you with what we call fire permits. And that is where you have to pay some fees to the government as means of generating some revenue for our economic development. We need to. So these are some of the challenges when it comes to, but that does not mean that people should not submit their drawings. It is a must. Like what I've been saying all through my presentation is that we were born in 1963. We have done extensive education on all these things. So next year, what management has decided is that, you know, sometimes when you do education and you don't enforce, you don't achieve much. So we'd want to use this year and highlight and then re-echo all the requirements that the citizens must know as far as safeguarding their safety is concerned. So when it comes to submitting their buildings for technical advice and for fire permitting and certification, it is also a requirement that we want the general public to know. So please, our doors are open 24/7. Reach out to the nearest fire station to submit your drawings. You may never know. We don't want people to die because of too much premium on their security. You know, we've had cases where a family of about 7 or more have died when fires gutted their premises because they were just overthinking, or they were so much concerned about their security. Therefore, they put in structures like burglar-proofing, this hardcore type that when the fire comes, it becomes very difficult to escape. Now we have technology, or there are new designs of these burglar-proofing where we are now advising for people to incorporate the collapsible ones, and then those that come with key and lock and all that, so that if there is any emergency of that nature, you can easily open, you can even collapse them and then escape with your family. So these are the kind of advice that we give. So please do not run away from the fire service. Know that we are your friends. We exist because of you, so that we can give you the needed technical advice to help you safeguard your life. And another function that we also undertake is to train fire volunteers.
Fire volunteers. Not necessarily they be part of the service, right?
Not necessarily. This is in two parts. What we have succeeded in doing as a service over the years is focus much more on training of volunteers at our farming communities. We are supposed to also train volunteers in our residential communities, in our public space, so that when those people are given the needed training, anytime there is fire within that community or that enclave, they move in and to offer this kind of first aid approach to the situation. It is not just about dealing with fires. It's about if there's any road crash. Yes, they are also supposed to move in, perform CPR and other means of safeguarding lives. So that is what we as a service, we've not focused so much. But I believe as management has taken a decision on that, from next year we're going to also redirect our attention to training volunteers within our residential areas as well. So that, because that is then our biggest challenge when it comes to fires is domestic fires. So if we have a lot more volunteers trained at our domestic enclaves, it helps us to be able to deal with the fire even before the fire brigade comes to your aid. So that is what we are going to do. But since the advent of the 1983, 82, 83 fires, we were so much focused on training fire volunteers at our farming communities. Currently, we have trained over 6,000 of them at our various farming communities. What we have also succeeded in doing is that, you know, there is this flagship government initiative, Planting for Food and Jobs and Export. We have also succeeded in collaborating with the relevant agencies like Agriculture Department and all those departments in that setup, that we've been able to reach out to these farm hands. We've trained them as to farming practices, best farming practices. Now that we are getting to the dry season, they have been taught as to how best to do what we call early or control burning, and such that they wouldn't wait for the harmattan to hit them before they start burning. So as to be able to also, we've also taken them through what we call fire belt creation, such that we weed closer to the ground, that is to the bearers soil, so that even if there is a fire from a neighboring farm, it becomes very difficult for it to travel to affect your farm. So these and many things that we are doing to safeguard. That is why we are now experiencing a lot of food. We are not experiencing a lot of food shortages and all that. And this has been the effort of the Ghana National Fire Service. So sometimes we are taken aback when people lambast us that we don't do anything and all that. And through our efforts, somewhere 2006, between 2006 and 2012, we were losing our forest cover, our economic species, close to about 6% of the GDP, gross domestic product of this country. But now through our efforts, by way of training a lot of these fire volunteer squads in our farming communities, giving them the motivation, giving them the little implement to be able to safeguard the natural environment, we are doing roughly about 3% loss of our vegetative cover to fires and associated emergencies. So we are doing a lot. We are saving this country a lot of money. That is why we want the general public to support us. Because if we are helping the country save all these foreign exchange or all this money, it is incumbent on them to also help us to solve some of our challenges that I'll be putting across maybe as time goes on. So we are not relenting. We will go, we will do our best to continue in that stride and even do more to safeguard our natural environment.
Okay, but not to cut you in, still talking about the challenges. I know we have the government, regardless of the economic situation, hardship and all that. Do you think the government has been supportive enough to the Ghana National Fire Service?
Yes, I would say that the government has been so supportive. Just last year, around this period, they commissioned 2 hydraulic platforms, which is enabling us to reach to the 16th floor of high-rise buildings in this country. When you go to some of the regions with high-rise structures like northern part, if you come to the middle part like Ashanti, if you come to the southern part like Accra, Tema, Takrade, where we have a lot of these high-rise structures. We also have some turntable ladders which can also reach about the 8th floors of any building. So for that, government is doing well. But as an institution and as an evolving one, we need a lot more in terms of PPEs, in terms of robust fire tenders. The issue is that government alone cannot do everything for Ghana National Fire Service. You know, the responsibility of government is so huge. We are not also saying that government should not adequately resource fire service. So government is trying its best. Now, the package, which is we are all looking forward to, is to provide us with about 200 rapid intervention vehicles. These vehicles would be positioned strategically. You know, we don't have our fire stations or fire tenders all over the country.
Yeah.
Yes. So what we are doing is that when these vehicles come in, they will be strategically positioned at vantage points in between stations without or communities without fire tenders.
Okay.
So that if there is any emergency, fire or road crash or what have you, they will quickly move in to salvage lives or to save lives and then to preserve property. But notwithstanding, our current fire tenders too are old. Ideally, after every 5 years, we should change our fire tenders, kind of retool the fire service in terms of secretion tools and what have you. But that is not the case. What we have in the system are well over 10 years. Some are doing 12 years, some are doing 15 years. We have even some machines or fire engines in the system which are well over 20 years. And it is all because of the robust maintenance structure that the service has. But it is also having a toll on us, because the little resources that we have, because they are old, they are aged, and every now and then they break down because of wear and tear and their age. The little resource that we have, we use them in maintaining them. And that is really hitting us hard. That is why we have launched this program, where we are now reaching out to a lot of these well-meaning individuals, the traditional authorities, to provide us with lands to be able to build these modern fire stations, because we believe that once the fire stations are closer to the communities, if there is any emergency, the response time will be good, because the farther the fire stations or the fire attendants are away from our communities, it means that we have to spend a bit of time to get to the incident scene. And sometimes the public blame us. It is not because they don't they are not justified. They are justified because sometimes, depending on where the incident is happening, we don't have any available fire station or fire tender or any rescue van to move to their aid. So we are pleading with well-meaning Ghanaians. Government is doing its part, but we should all come together and ensure that the fire service is well resourced. Currently, what we need is utility vehicles to be able to continue to engage the public in terms of educating them about their safety needs, and then also motorbikes to be able to reach out to, you know, there are certain communities that is very difficult to even reach with vehicles. So if we have these motorbikes, it will help us to reach the unreached plains, where we can send them and train people in the community volunteerism, so that they will continue to protect, safeguard our forests. Because if the forests are completely destroyed, it means it's going to affect our food, fruits, and then water and what have you. I mean, a whole lot. So please, the fire service should be one of your priority. Anytime you are thinking of going to donate to any security institution, the number one institution that should come to your mind is the Ghana National Fire Service, because we are doing a lot. It is just that the resources that are at our disposal is not really helping us, and we really need your support to help us get through with this.
Okay. All right. So viewers, we're still having a conversation with DO3 Desmond Aka. He is the Deputy National Public Relations Officer for the Ghana National Fire Service, and he's educated us enough, to have a fair idea about their duties. And he's saying we shouldn't relent. Anytime we need their assistance, we should just call them. So right about now, we'll activate the phone lines, and also if you have any message or any question for him right here, he's going to answer every question. So we have the numbers down on our screens. Calling, we have our Facebook page active where we're streaming live. You can also drop in your comment and let's get the conversation running. So Mr. Desmond, I want to find out from you, let's talk about illegal mining. You know, it's become one thing we cannot do away with, and it's affecting our water bodies. And moving into your service, water is something you can never do away with. What do you think about illegal mining currently, and also how it's affecting your work?
All right, thank you for this opportunity, but this topic I would have loved to have discussed it with somebody from Ghana Water Company, so that we could exhaust it and exhaust it well. we know that water is the main weapon of Ghana National Fire Service. Without water, most of our operations cannot be done. When it comes to firefighting, we use, let's say, 100% water. Sometimes we, depending on what is burning, we are we are forced to introduce certain chemicals into the water and all that. So illegal mining activity is really affecting us. It's not just affecting us, it is affecting everybody.
Everybody, yeah.
Because now, every now and then, when we attend to fire emergencies, we are supposed to get access to effective fire hydrants. And these hydrants, though some of them have been fixed by Ghana Water for our usage, we still have a lot more which are not functioning well. Why is it so? Because we don't have enough water flowing through them at desired pressure. It is not just enough to have these fire hydrants. No. What is important is that water should flow through them at desired pressure, such that anytime we attend to any fire emergency and we are in need of water, we could just connect our hoses to it, and within no time, because of desired pressure, the water is able to pump into our water reservoir for continuous firefighting. But that is not the case. That is not the case. Now, from the Ghana Water Company, they are telling us that they are rationing water for us. It's all because of the illegal mining. People are destroying our water body. They are getting silted. They are just polluting them and all that. And it's costing Ghana Water, from their own data or whatever engagement that they've done with the public, it is costing them millions of cedis to be able to treat these waters. And who are the causes of these illegal mining? It is just our politicians. So if we all don't start talking about it, and then do the needed advocacy and then apply the needed laws, we, Ghana National Fire Service, are going to be the end sufferers. And when we suffer, it is the public that suffers. Because when we don't get the water to extinguish the fires, you tend to blame us. And it will not be our fault that we are not getting water. It is because of our greedy individuals in the system who want to pollute the waters. And this is the time we all have to talk about it, so that there will be constant flow of water. What is now happening is that water company is telling us that they are rationing water. So if, let's say, where you stay, if you stay around Osu, and today there is an incident at Osu, and water is not flowing at Osu, it means that when we attend to the fire and we are in need of water, we have to move to somewhere at Abraka, where we may have water, to replenish our tender and come to fight the fire, assuming we are not able to tackle it once. So the time lag between us going to fill the tender to come back, what do you think will be happening to the fire? The fire will rage on, and it will even do more than what it initially did. So please, the conversation must not end here. We must all begin to talk about it. It is really affecting us. We are not getting the water and all that. But as a service, we are not sitting there. What we are also doing now is to sink boreholes at our various fire stations, so that at least the getting access to water before the fire scene, we will get enough to get to the fire scene. But replenishing, it is still a worrying trend. So notwithstanding, we all have to put do serious advocacy for those behind this criminal and illegality. Should also put a stop to that, so as to be able to. We have always said that we are the end users of our some of our public institutions. For instance, we need, when we get to fire scenes and it involves electricity, we need to contact electricity to isolate power from that area. So if electricity delays in isolating power, it affects our operational output. That is where people come. They don't know what we are doing. And you are not putting off the fire. No, we did not come to work to sort of end our lives. We have to assess the situation, and then ensure that the right thing is done, safety first, so as to be able to extinguish these fires. So people should understand that if our other stakeholders, our institutions, which are supposed to provide us with some kind of service, are not delivering, it affects us. So if ECG is affected, it affects us. If Ghana Water Company is not getting the waters from our streams, our river bodies and what have you, to produce enough quality drinkable water for us, I mean, it also affects our job. So please, Ghanaians should be talking, and this is the time that they have to talk. Ghana belongs to all of us.
Yeah, exactly.
And we need to make sure the right thing is done.
Interesting. All right, now let's move into communication. You know, definitely when these things happen, we have some hotlines and, you know, numbers that are supposed to be called, or probably social media handles. We want our viewers to have all these ones. So.
All right, so before I give you that, we are also very much into rescue and evacuation services.
Okay.
Many a time people know us to be just firefighters. No, we don't just extinguish fires. If there's any road crash accident, if there is flooding incident, like what happened at Akosombo area, Volta region, when the dam was spilled. I mean, it was the fire service which moved in, the first responders that moved in to rescue a lot of people. Quite recently, we were so happy to engage some of them, telling us what we did for them and all that. And we are currently supplying them with clean, drinkable water. And that is the humanitarian aspect of our job. So we do much. So if there is any road crash, if there is any flooding incident, if there is a situation like somebody falling into a well, somebody wants to end his life or her life and climbs up these high-rise buildings or mass telephone pylons and what have you, it is a responsibility of the fire service to respond to the scene. We are trained to be able to help ameliorate the situation. So please, when it happens like that, do not hesitate to call us. Our emergency number remains 192. 192. And then we also have the national emergency number, which is the 112. When you call the 112, it may even land in police, ambulance, national security, or any of the emergency providers. But whatever it is, if it has to do with our function, it will be relayed to us as quickly as possible, and then we will respond. What we don't want the public to do is to end the constant pranking of these emergency lines. I mean, it's really affect us. You know, people will be in dire need of our help and will be calling, and because somebody is on it and pranking us, it will be very difficult for the person who is needs our real help to get through to us. So please, Ghanaians, every month we are recording over 20,000 prank calls, and it is not helping us. So please put a stop to that as we enter into the Christmas and the dry season. We expect to get a lot of calls, and therefore if you prank us, it will deny genuine people access to our services, and that is not good for us. And if you call these emergency lines, that is the 192 and the 112, and you are not getting through, then you are also to call these direct numbers, 030 277 2446, 030 277 2446. This number cuts across. It's a national number. It doesn't matter where you find yourself. Once you call us on this, everywhere in Ghana, we will respond. And then if you call this number and you're not getting through, you can also call us on 0299 340 383. 0299 340 383. It's a nation number, a nationwide number. You can call us on it anytime. When there is fire, when there is road crash, when there is a bee attack, if you are there and the bees attack you, it is the responsibility of the fire service. And then when you are also trapped and in your building as a result of fire or any structural collapse, call us, because we have been trained. We have the specialized equipment to come to your aid to extricate you and evacuate you to safety. So please, let us all take our own fire safety very seriously and help the fire service to better deliver on our mandate.
Okay, so interesting. We still want to appreciate your work, what you're doing in Akosombo. I think I went on your social media platform. I saw the toiletries and other things that were provided to the people who were affected. But how many, you know, talking about the supply of water that comes, how many have you been able to, you know, give out so far?
Yes, so far we've been able to supply clean drinking water to about 600 households.
Wow.
Yes, the last time we had done over 570. As at yesterday, we had done over 600. So currently, within Mepe and then the affected communities, we've been able to supply water to about over 600 households that we are still doing. Quite recently, our Volta Regional Command also went to donate some sachet bags of water, and then some other toiletries and stuff just to ameliorate their plight. That is part of our humanitarian function. We do a lot, even when it gets to elections. And then our friends from the police, who are mandated to police our ballots, they don't have the numbers, so they resort to fire service to help them to police these. So when it comes to national events, that is why during Christmas periods we advocate or social events for event owners to get to us so that we can put in the necessary measures so as to be able to prevent stampede and to ensure that people who come to make merry or patrons of such events do not get hurt in any way. Okay. So our mandate is very wide. If you don't get closer to us, you wouldn't know about it. And we want to appreciate HSTV for your continuous support, at least for having engaged us this morning. A lot of people have gotten to know.
Yeah, I think we even have a call on the line, so to catch you in. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning. Your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is David. I'm calling from Multifaceted.
Okay, so do you have any question for Dio right here in the studios? Hello?
Yeah, please, I'm watching you and I'm impressed with the man who is right on the train, educating us about the fire fighting and the road that is flew. The party is doing a lot. I want to commend him. He's done a very good job.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, but I want to know that he was saying that they have some numbers that if you are trapped in a building or something happens to you, can call apart from the national number that he gave. If he can repeat those numbers again, because I'm about tapping the numbers when we end. If he can put those numbers on the screen for us again, I'll be very grateful.
Okay, all right, sure. So he's going to say it again, but my producer is still going to display the numbers on the screen. So I think we'll quickly do that again with the
all
numbers.
Right, so our direct number that you can reach us on is 030 277 2446. 030 277 2446. And then 0299 340 383. 0299 340 383. So these are the numbers that you can call us apart from the national emergency 192 or 112.
Okay, so we still have the numbers on the screens, and I'm going to take it again. 030-277-2446. Before I continue, we have Charles on the line. Hello, Charles. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, you're live on Healthy Morning today.
Okay, I also want to at least contribute or say something about what is being taught today on the screen. I think fire service has been so helpful in our society, and we really appreciate your work. But one thing that I've also seen is that logistics, it is not enough. It's not enough at all, because sometimes you wonder the kind of services they provide for us, and at the end of the day, the logistics are not there. Even look at their commanders. Sometimes when you visit the fire stations, it is very appalling. Their vehicles are broken down. They don't use good vehicles here and there. Even the officer even there, look at the kind of, I don't even know the kind of car that he even brought. You see, we have to appreciate our men. They are trying. You understand? They are trying. And moreover, the hydrant issues. Hydrant issues. Fire service always find it difficult when there is an emergency, like Makola and the rest. There is no hydrant. So the waterways, I think they should also try and communicate with the waterways to also help to construct more hydrants, so that in case of an emergency, they will know where to get the water. You understand? They are not getting it. So I think we should all help them, so that at the end of the day, the government will also hear it, come to their aid, provide them enough logistics. So that at the end of the day, when you go to the police headquarters, I've been going there, when you go there, you see a lot of vehicles. But when you go to the fire service, there is none. So it is very bad. It's like the government is not supporting the fire officers. We need to appreciate them. Because when you go overseas, they are there. They are really appreciated. But in our country, we don't appreciate them. So I would say kudos to fire service, but I know when the government comes to their aid, they will do more.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. I think these are encouraging messages coming in from the citizens saying that they should be supported. I think you made mention of some of the logistics you need and all that, and clearly Ghanaians are seeing it. So sometimes when we go on social media, people have a misconception. We see people capturing scenes of you trying to, trying to bring down the fire. There was one recent one talking about the Piotr one. We can never do away with that story. So please. The Ghana National Fire Service, they are doing their best to help save life right here in Ghana. So, Mr. Desmond, I want to take your final words before we wrap it all up.
All right. We want to continue to stress on the fact that the fire service has come of age. All that we need from you is your support. Support in terms of adhering to the basic fire safety messages that we have been churning out, that you need to take care of your electricity or electrical equipment. When you're not in use of them, please put them off and then unplug them as well. If your wiring has gone past age 25, you need to reconsider rewiring. Get competent, qualified, certified electricians to be able to do such works for you. And once you adhere to these basic fire safety messages, you would be good to go. You'll be safe, your family will be safe and all that. And the next support is that we need your support to be able to do a lot more advocacy for the fire service. We can't just wait on government to provide us with all our logistical needs. Some of them could be done by you, the well-meaning citizen. I mean, if you have a piece of land, if you have a building that you can dedicate or donate to fire service to be used as a fire station, why not? If you have the means to provide pickups to fire service and for fire education, because the more we get our citizens educated, the more we feed them with the right knowledge to prevent fires in their premises, the fires will not occur. We will not be in the position to lose our businesses and what have you. The more you advocate for these fire hydrants to be built closest to us by Ghana Water Company, and then to get them flowing with water at desired pressure, I mean, the more we'll be able to serve you when we come to your community to extinguish your fires. So please, the possibilities are endless. Our men are ready. They are also poised to even do more for you. So just appreciate them. Just support them. Visit the nearest fire station. Get trained on the fire extinguisher and call on the government to adequately resource the Ghana National Fire Service. Thank you. Stay blessed.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. So we had in the studios a DO3 Desmond Aka. He's the Deputy National Public Relations Officer for the Ghana National Fire Service. I know you've picked one or two information from the conversation we've had today. So finally, we wrap it all up. And before we do that, I want to wish Michael Issa a happy birthday. Michael Issa, today is your birthday. Wishing you all the best in the new chapter you're facing. From your friends, your family, your loved ones, we're saying a happy birthday going out to you, Michael Issa. So finally, wrapping it all up, we brought to you the Matters Arising segment where we touched on various stories on the front pages of the newspapers. Precious Azuma came in with happenings in the world of sport. And right on In Focus too, we had a conversation with the Ghana National Fire Service. Good morning going out to our production team, from our producer, our camera personnel, sound, for ensuring a great production, and to you, our viewers at home. Without you, Healthy Morning wouldn't be here. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms. We have HSTVLIVEGH on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Go there and get informed on all you need to know right here on the screens. My name is James Riafe Kwesi, and I did this with Irama Abigail. Join us same time tomorrow. Have a blessed morning.
Rafakata, Elima, Zuz Vigibor.